I'm Calvin, and I'm talking about the sustainability in the fashion industry, particularly in Britain, and the information was taken from an article by the BBC. For an overview of the issue, so British members of Parliament have released a report outlining sustainability issues surrounding the fashion industry, including online retail. The issues come from a huge environmental footprint due to pollution and waste, from huge consumption each fashion season, and it being unfashionable to wear items more than once, something known as fast fashion. Also, large amounts of deforestation and large water consumption for dyeing clothing, washing clothing, and water needed for cotton. Pesticides used for cotton maintenance, and biological damage from microfibers and synthetic fibers entering our oceans. The issue is very important because the fashion industry is one of the largest industries in the world and one of the main contributors towards greenhouse gases. It is estimated to account for 10% of global carbon emissions and be the second largest polluting industry in the world, only second to the oil industry. Key stakeholders in this issue are the fashion industry as a whole, including online fashion retailers and all of the employees, also the consumers and the government, and suppliers such as the cotton farmers, producers of the clothing, and the community environment as a whole, as they are definitely impacted by the damage. These stakeholders have a responsibility and need to decide on what they want their future to look like and how they can reduce their carbon and ecological footprint. This may involve alternative processes, technologies, or materials that are less damaging and more sustainable. The Environmental Audit Committee under the UK Parliament has ordered the 10 leading fashion retailers to provide information on sustainability levels, and this is what they found. Clothing production has doubled in 15 years. 235 million items of clothing were sent to landfill in 2017, and globally 1.75 billion tons of carbon dioxide was emitted in 2017. 120 million trees were cut down per year. 1 kilogram of cotton requires 20,000 liters of water and 79 billion cubic meters of water, and 31 billion liters of oil overall is used annually. Fashion waste into land-based water streams is to increase by 60% by 2030, and 43 million tons of chemicals is used to produce textiles. There is currently sufficient information to make stakeholders aware that there is a clear need for change. However, the information doesn't adequately enable informed decision making due to measurement issues and lack of specificity of information and the total complexity of the production process. To allow informed decision making, firstly, there needs to be more extensive information reported by parties involved in the process other than the big retailers. To be specific, information on life cycles of different products before they are put to waste, environmental footprint of products during consumer use, specific water usage statistics by each party in the production process, availability and sustainability statistics on alternatives to replace things like cotton, polyester, and the chemicals used, information on the growing demand for sustainability in the industry and why this is happening, the sustainability of low quality clothing and compared to high quality clothing. Information can be collected by the Environmental Audit Committee, which is under the UK Parliament, the UK Fashion and Textile Association, which is a British network for fashion and textile companies that brings together designers, manufacturers, agents, and retailers. Also, it could be collected by the largest industry retailers such as Burberry, Next, Mark & Spencer, and ASOS. And lastly, the Global Fashion Agenda could collect this information, which is a non-profit organization that is the foremost leadership forum for industry collaboration on sustainability in fashion. Although there are challenges involved in acquiring this information, one being that it is hard to acquire due to the huge complexity and amount of processes involved in the whole clothing supply and production process. The fact that reporting is not compulsory, meaning we have no guarantee that any of these organizations will report on the information. And lastly, determining the footprint is very difficult due to the variety of processes from one garment to the next. So to finish, the recommendations include, firstly, for consumers to avoid the fast fashion trend. Secondly, for the creation of a global platform where all sustainable information is kept and organizations can communicate towards a goal. And lastly, for the UK government to potentially introduce industry regulation, perhaps in the form of a cap and trade system on carbon emissions. Thank you.